The opening of the movie introduces us to Giselle, who once lived joyfully in the enchanting realm of Andalusia. Her fairy tale life took an unexpected turn when she fell in love with a crown prince, whose malevolent stepmother, a witch, sent her to the human world to prevent their union. The prince valiantly ventured into this realm to save her, but Giselle's true hero turned out to be a kind-hearted lawyer named Robert. Their unconventional love story blossomed, leading to marriage and the birth of their daughter Sophie. As time passes, the realities of everyday life take hold. The movie shifts focus to Morgan's teenage years, a period marked by growing pains and strained family dynamics. Giselle, struggling to connect with her stepdaughter, decides to uproot her family from bustling New York City to the quaint town of Monroeville. In this charming new locale, Giselle hopes for a fresh start and an opportunity to forge stronger bonds within her family. Bid farewell to her magical animal friends, Giselle embarks on this new chapter alongside Robert, Morgan, and their youngest, Sophie. The reality of the situation quickly sets in as their newly purchased house remains unfinished. Morgan's frustration mounts, highlighting the challenges of this transition. Giselle's whimsical singing, a reminder of her Andalusian past, causes further friction, much to Morgan's chagrin. In an attempt to lift Morgan's spirits, they unveil a magically adorned room, but a sudden short circuit leads to a disastrous fire that consumes Morgan's belongings. Despite their setbacks, Giselle's welcoming neighbors offer a glimmer of hope, though Morgan remains skeptical of their intentions. With their first day in Monroeville behind them, the family retires with optimism for a better tomorrow. Yet, their initial expectations are not met, leaving them yearning for the enchantment they once knew. Just when things seem mundane, a surprise visitor emerges. Andalusia's prince, accompanied by his wife, arrives via a mystical portal to witness Giselle's new abode. Not able to go to Sophie's birthday party, Sophie's godparents, Giselle and Robert, give her a special gift, an amazing wishing wand from Andalusia. However, Morgan feels very jealous, and you can tell she's not happy. Giselle talks to the prince and his wife about her struggles with living in the human world and dealing with Morgan's disobedience. The prince believes in Giselle and her abilities, which makes her feel better and more determined. At the same time, Robert is having a hard time in his new job and finding it difficult to adjust to living in a small town. Giselle goes with Morgan to school and finds out about a fairy tale themed ball that the community leader, Malvina, is organizing. The ball will choose the town's prince or princess, and right now, that title belongs to Malvina's son, Tyson. Morgan doesn't seem interested in the ball, but something unexpected happens when she meets Tyson by chance, and they start to connect. Giselle, aspiring to integrate into the community, shares coffee with Malvina in hopes of forging new friendships. However, Morgan's melancholy deepens, fueled by thoughts of New York. A tense confrontation ensues between mother and daughter, as Morgan asserts her independence, prompting Giselle to devise a plan to mend their fractured relationship. Morgan discovers a note inviting her to the school, where Giselle has set up a cupcake stall in her name at the ball. Giselle's gesture aims to secure Morgan's nomination for the role of princess. However, Morgan's anger boils over, and she storms off, inciting Malvina's displeasure. The plan backfires, leading to conflict and dashed hopes. As night falls and Morgan remains absent, Giselle and Robert grow increasingly anxious. Eventually, Morgan returns, revealing that she embarked on a solo journey to New York. Tempers flare, and an emotional rift emerges between Morgan and her stepmother. The intense exchange culminates with Morgan's departure, leaving Giselle and Robert grappling with the aftermath of their heated confrontation. In the peaceful garden, Giselle starts to think about her simple life back in Andalusia. Surprisingly, she begins to want a break from the complicated life she has now. Especially, her thoughts bring her beloved old squirrel from Andalusia, Pip, through a portal, and it makes her happy. Following her instincts, Giselle uses the wishing wand, imagining a life like a fairy tale where things are easy, people understand each other, and there are no regular worries. But when night falls, it seems like her wish hasn't come true, so she goes to bed with Pip. Unbeknownst to her, a soft light comes from the wand's box, a quiet sign that something is about to change. The next morning, Giselle wakes up to find her wish has come true. Everything around her turns into a magical world, just like in a storybook. Robert and Morgan act differently, and they're all a happy family. The whole town has changed too, becoming like a fairy tale place. The important person in the town, Malvina, is now the queen of this magical world, and and she announces a big ball for everyone to enjoy during the festival. But the magical scene gets interrupted when Queen Malvina sees that Sophie has the wishing wand. Something unexpected happens because of this, and a consequence follows. Giselle, trapped by a mysterious spell, changes from being kind to being mean, and she leaves a hurtful comment for the queen. This strange change in her behavior makes people suspicious, suggesting there might be a hidden betrayal. Queen Malvina doesn't give up and uses her magic mirror to find out what's going on. She learns about Giselle's new power and influence. Seeing how powerful the wand is, she sends her agents to get it. While all this is happening, Giselle gets to have important moments with her daughter Morgan, just like she wished for. Morgan's growing interest in Tyson adds more interest to the story. While she's thinking about things, Giselle realizes that her wish has taken a surprising twist. She's turned into a bad stepmother, like the old stories. Even though Pip tries to reassure her, this revelation upsets her. As she deals with this new situation, Pip himself changes into a kind of mean cat, like in traditional fairy tales. As the story unfolds, the spotlight shifts to Robert, whose new responsibility involves safeguarding the town from dragon threats. Guided by the wand's instructions, Giselle endeavors to reverse her transformative wish. However, a startling revelation surfaces. The wish has consumed vast magic, and altering the world could lead to catastrophic consequences. Urgently, Giselle must undo her wish before midnight, lest her transformation into a wicked stepmother becomes permanent. Determined to restore normalcy, Giselle embarks on a quest to locate the elusive wand. Meanwhile, scenes transition to Morgan's challenges, where she faces bullying from affluent girls within the town. Despite this, Morgan's spirits are lifted by the forthcoming festival, as her stepmother surprises her with a dress, igniting newfound hope. Amidst the festival preparations, Morgan crosses paths with Tyson, the object of her interest. As their connection blossoms, Giselle's concerns about her inner stepmother's influence grow, echoing the ominous patterns of fairy tales. In a bid to reverse her wish, Giselle searches for a potion in the market. Yet, her apprehensions intensify as she witnesses Morgan's growing involvement with Tyson. Fearing the emergence of her malevolent alter ego, Giselle's urgency to undo the wish escalates. Meanwhile, the queen's underlings deliver the wishing wand to her, but she struggles to harness its power. Consulting a magic mirror, the queen discovers that only a true Andalusian son or daughter can wield the wand's magic. Determined to uncover Giselle's history, the queen delves into the wand's instruction book. Back at home, tensions mount as Morgan's enthusiasm for the festival clashes with Giselle's inner turmoil. An escalating confrontation culminates in Giselle locking Morgan in a room, igniting a poignant conflict between mother and daughter. Amidst the unfolding narrative, the focus shifts to Robert, who arrives in town to encounter a colossal threat, a rampaging giant threatening the peace. Robert bravely confronts the giant, saving a young girl in the process, and earns acclaim as a true hero. Meanwhile, Morgan dons the torn dress and sneaks out through a window, but is apprehended by Giselle. In a moment of inner turmoil, a fierce struggle ensues between Morgan's conflicting sides. Battling to control her better nature, she manages to implore Morgan to seek help from Andalusia. Giselle returns home to find an earring left behind by the queen's underling during the wand theft. With Morgan absent, Giselle's stepmother persona fades, prompting her to devise a plan to usurp Malvina's throne and become the new queen. Giselle confronts Malvina with the earring, leading to a challenge between the two formidable women. As part of their strategy, Pip secretly accompanies Malvina's carriage. Meanwhile, Morgan's presence in Andalusia transforms her into a cartoon character, and she seeks the counsel of the prince and princess. Learning about the gradual depletion of magic and the potential obliteration of Andalusia, Morgan shares the details of Giselle's wish. Realizing the impending catastrophe, they devise a plan to trigger Giselle's memories to restore the balance. The key lies in the memory tree. In another turn of events, Robert arrives home to a topsy-turvy situation. Giselle has succumbed to her malevolent side and departs for the festival. Struck by concern for Morgan, Robert abruptly disembarks from the carriage and sets off to find her. As Morgan arrives at the memory tree, she encounters an alarming sight: a withered, lifeless tree. However, touching the tree while reflecting on her shared memories with Giselle triggers a remarkable rejuvenation, symbolizing the power of their connection. The prince explains that the memory tree is important to both Morgan and Giselle. Morgan's job is to help Giselle remember who she is, which will bring things back into balance. With the encouragement of the princess, Morgan starts a journey to remember good times. The princess guides Morgan back to the real world, while the prince stays behind to protect Andalusia. Back in the real world, Morgan feels more hopeful and comes up with a plan. She takes the memory tree from her room and decides to talk to Giselle at the festival. Pip, the squirrel, manages to take the wand from the queen and gives it to Giselle. With the wand in hand, Giselle makes a big entrance to the festival, getting ready for a big showdown with Malvina. As it gets close to midnight, strange things start happening in the town. But Giselle doesn't stop, and she has a funny fight with Malvina, skillfully blocking all her moves. The princess from Andalusia asks for Robert's help to reach Giselle and tells him about Giselle's wish. They come together where Giselle is, and Morgan gives her the memory tree. Giselle tears it apart without caring, but then the pieces of paper turn into magic and bring back her memories and awareness. The seriousness of the situation becomes clear as the group asks Giselle to cancel her wish, to stop the big problem that could ruin Andalusia. Just as Giselle is about to change her wish, Malvina grabs Morgan and says she'll let her go if Giselle gives her the wand. When the wand breaks, Morgan is free, but Giselle gets weaker. Robert and Tyson go up the tower clock, trying to stop it from reaching midnight. Giselle asks Morgan to use the broken wand to make a new wish, saying the magic is still there. They see that Morgan is Giselle's real daughter and has a special connection, so they believe she can use the wand's power. Morgan gains confidence and cancels the spell, making everything go back to how it was before. The narrative culminates in a heartwarming scene of Giselle and Morgan living harmoniously, their bond strengthened through adversity. Giselle and Malvina exchange apologies and share a heartfelt hug, forging a new bond of friendship between them. The tale concludes with a fresh start for the family, embarking on a journey of unity and happiness in their new town.